Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to explore a really simple but honestly powerful idea: how to build connections that actually last by slowing down and letting comfort lead the way. It's all about building something strong, not just fast.
So let's start with a feeling I think we've all had. You meet someone, the conversation is just flowing, the energy feels amazing, and then out of nowhere, it just kind of cools off. And you're left there thinking, wait, what happened? What did I do wrong? It's a super common, and let's be honest, pretty confusing experience.
And here it is. This is the key idea that really explains what's going on. The problem most of the time isn't that they lost interest. It's about a mismatch in speed. We rush toward closeness before a real foundation of simple, easy comfort has even had a chance to form.
Okay, so let's really dive into this core concept. It all comes down to understanding that there are two separate timelines happening, and they move at very, very different speeds. There's the timeline for comfort, and then there's the timeline for closeness.
So here's the crucial difference. Think of comfort as the slow burn. It's built on simple, repeated interactions and just a general feeling of ease. Closeness, though, that can feel like a spark, right? It's about depth, vulnerability, but here's the thing you have to remember. Genuine closeness can only grow after comfort is stable. They are not the same thing, and the order here matters a lot.
And this is exactly what happens when we get that order wrong. When we push for those deep, vulnerable conversations too soon, it starts to feel like pressure. And it's that pressure that makes people pull back. It's not a lack of interest. It just feels like too much too fast.
So if that's the big idea, how do we actually, do this? Let's walk through 3 really practical ways you can start letting comfort lead and build that solid foundation. First, and this is probably the most important one, you've got to let repetition do the heavy lifting for you. This is not about having one epic hours-long conversation. It's about the power of many, many short, simple interactions over time. Just talking about normal, everyday stuff creates a sense of predictability and safety, and that is the absolute bedrock of trust. Okay, the second practice is all about matching the other person's energy. The goal here is to just move in sync with them. You can almost think of it as a form of respect for their personal pace. When you match someone's energy, you're basically saying, hey, I see where you're at and I'm comfortable meeting you right there.
And it's really pretty straightforward. If they're talking lightly, you keep it light. If they tend to keep conversations brief, you do the same. This isn't about playing games or anything like that. It's about creating a shared space that feels balanced and safe, where nobody feels like they're being rushed or dragged along.
And number 3 is something we almost always overlook: the end of the conversation. How you say goodbye actually matters a whole lot. The goal is to always try and keep it light and positive, ending things before that energy naturally starts to dip.
And the benefits of doing this are huge. A clean, positive exit leaves the other person with a good feeling. It kind of freezes the memory of the interaction at its peak, which builds this nice, subtle anticipation for the next time you talk. It just makes reconnecting feel easy and natural, instead of awkward. So, after you start putting these things into practice, what are you actually aiming for? What does it feel like when you're getting it right? Well, let's look at the result: the feeling of a stable, growing bond. Think of this as your checklist for a healthy connection. Things just feel easy. You're not forcing conversation. Those little moments of silence don't feel like a problem you have to solve. And maybe most importantly, you're not constantly in your own head, analyzing every little thing. There's just a sense of calm and, mutual trust. This really gets right to the heart of it all. It's such a powerful distinction to make. Comfort is magnetic. It pulls people in. Pressure is repellent. It pushes them away. When a connection starts to fade, it's almost always because one person felt the weight of pressure, not the ease of comfort. So, what's the big takeaway here? It's really all about the quiet, often underestimated power of patience. Real strength in a connection doesn't come from how fast it grows. It comes from the willingness to move slowly and build it the right way. So, here's a clear definition you can take with you. A patient connection is a bond that's built on a foundation of consistency and calm. It's a process where we consciously let comfort pave the way, knowing that real trust and closeness can only be built on solid ground. And really, that's it. That's the whole thing. It's a simple little mantra to carry with you. Stop trying to force closeness. Instead, just focus on creating comfort. If you can do that, patiently and consistently, closeness will follow. It will happen naturally, and it'll be so much stronger for it.